Leech by, is it Hiron? Ennes, an isolated chateau as far north as north goes, the Baron's doctor has died. The doctor's replacement has a mystery to solve, discovering how the Institute lost track of one of its many bodies. For hundreds of years, the Medical Institute has grown by taking root in young minds and shaping them into doctors, replacing every human practitioner of medicine. The Institute is here to help humanity, to cure and to cut, to cradle and protect the species from the apocalyptic horrors their ancestors unleashed. In the frozen north, the Institute's body discover a competitor for its rung at the top of the evolutionary ladder. A parasite is spreading through the Baron's castle, already a dark pit of secrets, lies, violence, and fear. The two will make war on the battlefield of the body. Whichever wins, humanity will lose again.
Midnight, blew up for the 1,000th time. Guess I'm always lucky, right? Pop some shit, then fall behind. I jump the gun and take what's mine. Looking like you seen a ghost, moving like a poltergeist. I'm like, wait, what's his name? I'm like, what'd he say, bitch? I don't want your 2 cents. You ain't even paid, bitch. We are not the same. I dropped out in 7th grade, bitch. Came up from the grave. Fuck everything you claim, bitch. You've never seen a trap or a bando. Only time you put a strap is when you wearing Velcro. Say you hit licks, bitch. Hell no. Talking like you gotta do shit, but you won't.
Hello, you guys. It is day 7, officially, of Summerween. Welcome back to my channel. I am powering through. I just got off the treadmill not too long ago. I got some steps in, tried to wake myself up. I chugged a bunch of water. I'm feeling okay right now, but I know it's really going to hit me. You see, it's a little after midnight on my last day of Summerween, and I have 2 books to go. I have started Leech by Hiron Ennes, if I'm saying that correctly. Still need to double check. If you guys haven't seen my first Summerween video, you should go check it out. It's my TBR and my first kind of days getting it going. I read a thriller. I also posted my day 3 and 4, which was kind of eventful day. Taking a walk to the lake, reading outside that day. I'm going to be trying to read outside again tomorrow. We've just had a lot of rain recently. And it goes from being super dry to rain, super dry, rain. So it's kind of just miserable outside right now. And by the time you guys see this one, I've also posted my day 5 and 6, which is reading a horror book that's about slashers and watching slashers. I had a really fun time rewatching some of the old Friday the 13th and doing like a little tier list and stuff of them. It was a lot of fun. I'm currently running off that high right now from that day. I just got done with it earlier, and are we losing power now? See, I just feel like there's been a lot of bad juju this week. I feel like I've been trying to power through and just the most random things like this happens. I think we're good. I don't even think it's storming. I have no idea what's going on right now. I'm powering through. One of my prompts is to bake a fall treat, so I'm going to do that tonight. The other prompt is to read a book in the dark, so I'm going to do that. We're going to read most of Leech in the dark. I have started it just so that I could do a little bit of a check-in now and tell you guys what I'm thinking about it, because it is such a weird book. I'm going to have a lot of fun staying up, hopefully not all night, reading this book, and then one more thriller book tomorrow to end out my Summerween and wrap it all up, and I'm almost there. I can see the white flag. I can see the finish line. I love readathons, but boy, do they take it out of me. I also decided to help motivate me and keep me, like, going. I thought it'd be fun to do a makeup look because it's been a minute since I've done one. So I'm just going to do a quick dark blue reverse cat eye wing liner. So I've started this book. We are following a person from the, what is it called, like the Institute or something like that. This book is so confusing, so I feel like it's going to be so confusing for me to even talk to you guys about it. I just don't know what's going on. I'm having such a hard time, and that's why, like, I was trying to listen to the audiobook while starting my makeup look, and I was just like, I have to pause because I need to, like, tandem read. Like, I need to, like, be looking at the words because this book is a little confusing to just listen to the audiobook. So fair warning, I would definitely pick up the physical of this book to help you. Even if you're an audiobook person, you may want the physical just to be able to look at the pages if you start to get confused. Or just avoid it completely, because so far it's been super confusing, and I know it's probably not going to be everybody's cup of tea because of that. I have hope. I have seen really good reviews of this and that to kind of like stick through it. And I bought this book during one of the book outlet sales, so I definitely wanted to get to it at some point. This eye's looking good, and then I can't get this eye to like do the same. Like, come on. These days I just feel so rusty doing actual makeup looks because I just don't do it as much anymore. I do miss it though. I'm also gonna pop a little bit of this blue night song in the inner corner. A little blue moment with the Moonfall from Shroud Cosmetics. Love this palette. And then I think I'm just gonna put my mascara on. Yeah, sometimes I just feel like putting makeup on, putting a full face of makeup on just kind of like helps motivate me to make the most out of my day. So I'm trying to like do mind games with my brain and like trick myself into being productive tonight by doing this. I mean, I've got books to read. So like I said, we're following this person who is a doctor that's coming from an institute. I'm kind of back and forth on like who this person is, what they identify as. Like, I have no idea. I feel like there's some stuff that I keep thinking that I'm just missing, but then I'm thinking maybe I haven't missed anything and it's just the way this book is like building it up to, because this person talks about like their different hosts. So it's almost like, are they jumping body to body, like, but then they kind of make like a reference that they have several of themselves inside. It's so weird. But we start off with this person. I keep wanting to say her or call it a girl, she, because the narrator for the book on like the audiobook is a female. I feel like I'm in her head, like listening to her. So if I do say that, that's why. But since I don't know, I'll probably just stick to they. They are from the Institute of Doctors, I'm assuming. We're learning more about, or we're gonna learn more about that. They're coming to stay at this like chateau with this weird ass family. It's like you have like the grandpa who's like the guy who owns it and apparently is like, I'm assuming like this is a rich family, so it's like all of his like he owns everything, and then his son and his wife live there at the chateau as well. And like the grandpa, or like the guy who owns everything, he's like very like rough, but he has like a lot of health issues, and that's why he needs a doctor living there to help like take care of him. But like he's kind of an asshole and isn't really like somebody that you really want to be around. But they have to like have like these like family dinners. And then the son is like very just timid. He's treated the doctor like pretty kind so far, but is very just like blunt and straight to the point as of now. His wife is very different. She's like making moves on this doctor, and I feel like making this doctor quite uncomfortable. And then she is trying to have another baby, and they currently have two creepy little girls who are twins, and they run around and cause a muck. And every time they come into the room, their curly hair is like fused together, and it talks about how the mom has to get a brush and like comb it out to untangle them because they're always glued together. And they talk about ghosts and like hauntings and stuff roaming into this like chateau. So I'm like, is it going to turn into like a ghost story, paranormal? I'm trying to figure out the vibes. The first part was this doctor like dissecting and doing a full autopsy on the previous doctor who just died to figure out what happens, and she found like this like weird parasite in his brain, and the details are so graphic that if you don't like reading that type of stuff, or you get sick listening to certain graphic details, you probably won't like this. It's very interesting. I like mortuary science and stuff like that, so like I'm really digging those scenes, but I'm having such a hard time with the parasite that is described kind of like, you know, in Spider-Man 3 and like the Tobey Maguire movies when Venom comes into play, and like a little piece of the venom can like grow and like transform into huge venom. It's almost like that. It's almost like she has like this little sample that has come out of this previous doctor's brain, and she's researching it and trying to figure out what type of parasite this is and what it will do to you. And it's super interesting, but the writing style of this is confusing me so much, and certain people have like accents, and it's just throwing me off so bad that I'm having such a hard time keeping up, and I'm just hoping that as it goes, it'll get better. Or I'll be able to like understand things a little bit more, because again, there's scenes that are so interesting and so like gripping, and like I'm so entertained, but I'm just having a hard time following.
I'm afraid when I wake up I see concrete. Rest my life on concrete. It's too hard to start me. Face. All I see is options. Everyone got problems. Anyone's a target.
Don't mind Roman's Thomas Paine back there. I have like my scrapbooking stuff out. And as you guys can see, it is pitch black outside. While the pumpkin roll is baking, I thought I would check in with you guys really quick before I jump back in. It's been a minute since I left you guys, and I am zooming through this, and I didn't think I was going to because of the writing style. I'm not hating it, but I just feel like it's going to be a slower read because of it. There is moments where I feel like I'm starting to go a little downhill, and I'm like, gotta refocus. And I also had to turn my, while I'm busy doing something, I have to turn down my speed so that I can understand every accent. When the main character is like talking and thinking and whatever, she talks normally to where it doesn't mess me up. Like I can keep it, you know, sped up to my normal speed. But like when she does other characters and she does like, she tries out like different accents, I am just like, I get thrown through a loop and I'm like, wait, what did that person say? Anyways, I am on chapter 16 now, you guys. I've made such progress, and oh my god, this book is so interesting. I'm still trying to figure things out. I feel like it's still all over the place, and part of me is like, I know what's going on, and then another part of me is like, what is going on? From where I left you guys off earlier, it's still kind of the same ordeal. This doctor is kind of finding out more about this family and who she's working for, and I keep getting confused like what time period this is supposed to be, and I think it's supposed to be like current or whenever this book came out. Like, because there was one reference that I was like, oh, is this supposed to be like more current? But it's written and these people are like, it's more old time in a way. I'm so confused. There's so many elements to this that just, I don't know. But at the same time, I'm like, I think it's supposed to feel this way because it's not really like, it's almost like supernatural or sci-fi because of, I mean, this person talking about different hosts and different beings in her, but I don't know. This book is making me think, that's for sure. I don't know if it was the best pick to be reading at 2 o'clock in the morning, but here I am. My pumpkin roll is about done, so I'm going to roll it up and stick it in the freezer like I normally do, read for a little while longer, check back in with you guys later, have some pumpkin roll later whenever it's cooled down. Hopefully it turned out good. We're kind of getting like detour plot stories here and there of like folk tales almost that have been really interesting but are just confusing me even more. I'm just hoping that this wraps up in a way where I understand everything, because right now I have so many questions.
What's his name? I'm like, what'd he say, bitch? I don't want your 2 cents. You ain't even paid, bitch. We are not the same. I dropped out in 7th grade, bitch. Came up from the grave. Fuck everything you claim, bitch.
Do you think at a certain point we all just sink into the ground and are never heard from again? Fuck, your hands are warm. I guess I just never noticed.
I keep one in the chamber. I keep one for myself. I'll keep one in your picture so I'll see you in hell. I just damaged my liver, baby.
Alright, you guys, I am exhausted. I'm gonna go wash this off in bed and try to finish this book. I have that much left. Not much more left, but I'm starting to see daylight out my window and it's freaking me out because I'm like, I am so tired. I don't know how much sleep I'm gonna get today because I still have one more book to get to, so I know I'm gonna need some type of like cat nap. So maybe I can finish this. I'm going to listen to it. I have to take Riley out to pee and wash my face and stuff, so I'm just gonna keep listening while I'm doing those things and hopefully make a good to end, but then I might have to call it a night and finish it in the morning, unfortunately. I'm just so tired. But either way, I will see you guys next whenever I finish it. Okay, looking like a hot mess today, but here's what it is. I've been running on barely any sleep the last couple of nights, and it's finally the very end. So this is what we get. I tried looking somewhat together, but it's laundry day. I'm trying to get my water in today and finish my last book because I finished Leech last night. But first off, I have to say that I seen the news this morning of the passing of Shelley Duvall. I'm devastated. I have been wanting to do a reread of The Shining and like a rewatch of it, and she's just so iconic and such a unique actress, unique person, and she is missed. So first of all, let's talk about Leech. This book, you guys, is wild. Stayed up so late to finish this and then just crashed. This story, I mean, it's so hard to talk about without giving anything away because I feel like my last couple of check-ins were almost like hitting the nail on the head and like a way to where it's like I was really confused, but like if you've read this book and then you've seen my last check-ins, you were probably laughing at me and being like, oh my gosh, yes, I went through that too. It's a very confusing read. I've seen it compared to a lot of other books that people say are dense and kind of hard to get through at first, or it takes a good portion of the book to have everything snap into place and be like, oh, this is what's going on. And that is the case with this one. I think it's done in such a well way that the author was not only able to, I feel like, put some really meaningful aspects to it, not only with some of the writing, but also some of the concepts and I feel like underlining meanings. Such a unique main character that we follow, and who they are, how they talk about themselves. You're confused super early on by them referring to themselves as having, you know, 7 kind of like entities in this one entity. So it's really confusing and kind of all over the place at first. And then on top of that, like, it's very gory and very dark and twisted, and some of the descriptions of stuff was even just like, oh my gosh, you know, but it's everything that I wanted out of a book that was going to touch so much like on mortuary science and having a doctor who's pretty much dissecting bodies and dealing with parasites and different things like that as well, which just kind of added another whole creepy element to it. And then on top of that, you have like this gothic vibe from the house, this like chateau that the doctor is staying at, and all of the characters within it. Oh my gosh, they are like full-on characters themselves, and entertaining, you know, to say the least. I am just really hard stuck on a rating for this and where I want it to land, because I've never read anything like this. It's very unique, but I almost feel like it's one of those books where I would probably give it a 4-star, and then if I did a reread, maybe it would bounce up to a 5-star. But I feel like I don't know if I can be confident enough to say it's a 5-star. I definitely wouldn't give it anything lower than a 4-star, and I feel like it deserves more than a 4-star. It's really, I don't know. This is what I gave it. You guys will know. And I'm just going to be confident in whatever I decide to give it while editing, because I feel like I thought I could sleep on it, but I feel like it's such a rash decision from just last night still that I feel like I'm not able to like sit on it long enough to really be like, okay, this is a 4 or this is a 5 confidently. Moving on though, the very last book, I have the cover here because it's a hardback, is The Only Survivors by Megan Miranda. I'm going to end it with a fast-paced thriller because I've already started it this morning with laundry, and I do have the audiobook as well, so it's kind of helping me. It's like a full cast. I think there's like 3 or 4 people in it. I've mainly just heard from one so far, but I know others are going to join in more and more as the book goes, I think anyways. I could imagine. I will give you guys the synopsis in a minute, but I will just say, for my first check-in, what I know of Megan Miranda, I've actually read quite a few of hers, at least 3 others, because I know I did like a reading 3 books by Megan Miranda. I know that I just can't think of their names. I think one was like Such a Quiet Place, and it was kind of like a suburban like neighborhood, and like it kind of gave me like Desperate Housewife vibes, and there was the mystery like twisted in between it with, and of course, like this huge twist and like kind of reveal at the end. I feel like she has a really good way of building up a thriller, and whether it's predictable or not, it's always a really fun ride. I think that was my favorite that I've read from her so far. Such a Quiet Place, I think is what it's called. But I've also read, I think, 2 other thrillers. One of them, I want to say, was like The Last House Guest or something like that. It was kind of another beachy vibe, kind of like this. So I'm hoping they're not like too similar, although that one is kind of, I'm kind of going blank trying to think about it. So I can't say that her books really stick with me a whole lot, but I feel like in that time, and that time setting down, I usually fly right through them. They're a good palate cleanser too, like in between like maybe a really dense book, which I think is going to be perfect for me, because when I tell you guys, reading My Heart is a Chainsaw and falling, I almost feel like I was falling into that 5-star slump where I was like, this book is so good, nothing is going to compare to this. And then going into this book, like I said, I really enjoyed it. I really liked it, but it was such a dense read and so overwhelming at times, and I'm so tired that I feel like this is the perfect way to end it. I've only made it like, let me see, I'm actually a lot further than I thought. Yeah, I've made it to chapter 9. And no, wait, I just finished this, I think. I think I'm about to go into, yeah. So it kind of goes back and forth. We have like chapters, and then it'll say like then, and then it'll go back, and it'll have like somebody's point of view of the night of this tragic accident that happened to all of these people. I know that it's a school trip, so there was teachers and or school staff or something, and then there was students on this. It happened quite a few years ago, almost like a decade ago, if not more than a decade ago. I can't remember how old they are now. But they get back together every year to just look out for each other, make sure everybody's doing okay. And sadly, over the years, 2 more have lost their lives by unaliving themselves. So it is trigger heavy, and there's a lot of darker elements when it comes to that and like mental health and like having to deal with like grief of losing your friends and how hard like traumatic experiences like that can make you feel. I'm enjoying the characters, but at the same time there's so many of them. I like that because it keeps you kind of guessing on what's going to happen. Like, are we going to experience a lot more deaths throughout this, or is it just going to kind of be like a whodunit and like you're going to have to really deep dive and try to figure out each character, which is a little overwhelming right now because there is, I feel like, so many characters. Do you feel like 9 chapters in, I'm starting to get the hang of them a little bit more. I did take some notes just so I wouldn't forget. I like to, when I'm listening to like audiobooks and I know I'm doing check-ins, I like to write little notes so I don't forget things I want to say. I do love the way that Megan writes. The jumping back and forth with timelines I've seen in her books before, and I've always really enjoyed that. I feel like that is why she's probably up there in my like favorite thriller writers, because I like having those different points of views, but also like different timelines until we kind of get the final picture at the end. Because I feel like these days thrillers just don't do it for me anymore. I feel like, you can throw in a lot of twists and turns, but a lot of the time I'm predicting them miles ahead, and it just doesn't really do a whole lot for me, to where I like that she kind of keeps me guessing by just stringing the story along but jumping back and forth so that you're slowly being able to piece it together. Because even right now, I'm still not even sure what tragic accident happened. I know that it happened whenever they were younger. It happened a while ago, but I feel like I'm not getting the full vibe even yet, being 9 chapters in. I think the next few flashbacks are really going to fill it in a lot more on exactly what happened. I don't even know, like, what was the accident? Like, I feel like things have been mentioned, but I'm like, did I just make that up then? But like, then I'm like, wait, is it this that happened, or is it this? I'm still kind of like second guessing myself, I guess. It feels like a classic thriller of trying to figure out and piece everything together, and I think that's what I really like about her writing style, because I feel like in the end, even if I predict it, even if I figure it out ahead of time, there's so much of the journey there that I was still questioning what was going on, that it just made it more fun instead of giving away too much from the beginning. Today was supposed to be a river day. I wanted to knock out my last prompt, which is read outside, which I technically have done I feel like I technically have done that, but I did want to spend another day reading outside, and unfortunately I think I'm gonna have to do that in my backyard and get ate up by mosquitoes versus the river, because of all of the like hurricane weather happening in the south coming our way. Our river, or one of the rivers, the river that we go to like swim and, have river days, is so up and just murky and muddy right now from all of the rain and weather that it just wouldn't be ideal right now. I'm hoping to get some river days in before school starts, but yeah, I guess the plan today is to just finish out Summerween the best I can, and I'll try to get a little bit of fresh air, but no promises on how long, because our mosquitoes are so bad.
Just a smile, at least once in a while. Leave your fucking town, live just in the now. Baby, I got a fever, I'm not feeling too well. I'm so under the weather, I'm so under your spell. I got one in the chamber, I got one.
The Only Survivors by Megan Miranda. A decade ago, 2 vans filled with high school seniors on a school service trip crashed into a Tennessee ravine, a tragedy that claimed the lives of multiple classmates and teachers. The 9 students who managed to escape the river that night were radically changed. A year later, after one of the survivors dies by unaliving, on the anniversary of the crash, the rest of them make a pact to come together each year to commemorate that terrible night, to keep one another safe, to hold one another accountable, or both. Their annual meeting place, a house on the Outer Banks, has long been a refuge, but by the 10th anniversary, Cassidy Bent has worked to distance herself from the tragedy and from the other survivors. She's changed her mobile number, she's blocked the others' email addresses, This year, she is determined to finally break ties once and for all, but on the day of their reunion, she receives a text with an obituary attached. Another survivor is gone. Now they are 7, and Cassidy finds herself hurtling back towards the group, wild with grief and suspicion. Almost immediately, something feels off this year. Cassidy is the first to notice when Amaya, the annual organizer, slips away, overwhelmed. This wouldn't raise alarm except for the impending storm. Suddenly, they're facing the threat of closed roads and surging waters again. Then Amaya stops responding to her phone. After all they've been through, she wouldn't willfully make them worry, would she? And as I promised long ago, each survivor will do whatever he or she can to save one another, won't they? I've made it to chapter 16, and I apologize that my camera is just going to be foggy and my hair is going to be a mess. This is probably my least, or the prompt I have wanted to do least, because the mosquitoes are so bad, you guys, and the humidity is so bad that, like, I can't do anything with my hair being in this type of weather. And I technically completed the read outside prompt whenever I read Disappearance at Devil's Rock, but I feel like I didn't get to read a whole lot of it, so I was like, I want to at least read a part of another book outside. So it is the last day. I thought I might as well just come out here and sit for a little bit. And yeah, thought I'd at least read a couple of chapters out here. It's a little loud because my neighbor's like air conditioner unit is like literally right there. But I made it to chapter 16. I'm loving the vibes of the story. It definitely is a summer read. I'm so glad I saved it and I didn't just go ahead and read it last fall because I was going to. I feel like it just fits the summer vibes so much. Even Summerween vibes, I feel like it's here. It definitely is thriller. That is, you know, the prompt that I was filling here too, was the thriller prompt. It's been a fun ride. Little by little, Megan Miranda is giving us bits and pieces as to what happened years ago when this like tragic accident happened, and I'm learning more and more now. It's starting to click into place a little bit more, but I feel like she's just giving like little dollops at a time. She's not going too heavy-handed with it, which I feel like is why I always stay so entertained in her books. I definitely have guesses, and I think I am kind of going in a direction with my thoughts of what is probably going on here. But at the same time, she's keeping things under wraps, and I keep thinking, what's happening? I think I'm more so starting to figure out what happened then, who could be maybe taunting them now, but I'm still like, what does this person want? Or who is this, like, person to them? But there's definitely some obvious, like, suspects, I guess. I'm also to a point where I'm wondering, is something major going to happen anytime soon? Because I feel like it's just been very smooth sailing, besides getting little bits and pieces of information in the flashback sections. The current time, it's just literally, they're just getting together at this, like, beach house together. Oh my god, the mosquitoes. Getting together at this beach house and hanging out, and there's just not too much to go off of. Like, not too much has happened, but I still have been very entertained. So it's not to say it's a bad thing. I feel like for some people, they'd probably be bored by now. For me, I'm glad that it's very quick-paced. It makes it a lot more enjoyable. Otherwise, I do think myself would be very bored as well. Maybe more should be going on, but I feel like I'm like right there at the brink of things, and you know, like, shit's gonna start happening, you know? So I in fact did get ate up by mosquitoes. They are so terrible this year. I swear the last 3 years they have been mind-blowing. Like, you just get so warmed as soon as you go outside. But I would still show you guys my garden. I literally just have tomatoes this year. It's been a little sad, but my mental health was not there during prime garden seasoning started. That it is what it is. But I'm starting to get tomatoes because even my tomato plants took forever to like produce anything. But I'm just letting them go wild this year. They're all over the place, but they're thriving, and I'm just crossing my fingers that the birds and squirrels won't get to all the tomatoes before I do. But I did, in fact, finish the only survivors, and that means I completed all of my activity prompts, all of my book prompts, and I'm completely officially done with Summerween. Although I'm, you know, internally going to keep celebrating Halloween through October, November, year round. But this book, you guys, I might just be giving this book a 5-star as well. I don't know if it was just the perfect in-between book that I needed from what I've been reading lately. It just felt so light instead of like dense like some of the other ones I have been reading, that I just feel like it was just the perfect timing for it, which I feel like would make me feel like it was even better than what it might actually be. It is a thriller, it is predictable at times, and by the end, I was starting to click together, like maybe like the whodunit or who was kind of like blackmailing type of vibe, but I can say she didn't give away at all like their role or why. At the same time, I feel like without spoiling anything, she did a good job at not giving everything away so that there would still be that little bit of a okay, but it still ended up being just a classic thriller, you know? Like, it's not anything super unique, it's not anything extraordinary, but it was still a lot of fun to read. And to this day, Megan Miranda just stays up there being one of the most entertaining thriller writers to me that I just really enjoy. I feel like I could pick up every single one of her books and read it, even if in the end, the ending isn't like this like huge surprise bomb on me. I'm still just so excited and have such a good time reading it that it just kind of makes it worth it when it does wrap up. And although I feel like we don't get like a crazy amount of details about the characters, at the same time, she does such a good job of filling us in as much as I feel like is needed, to a point to where you're actually feeling for some of the characters, and you know, you feel like you kind of know them more like on a personal level, or you almost feel like you're in the mix, like you're one of the survivors that's chilling out with them and trying to figure out what's going on. And it was a really fun ride, even though the kind of reveal twist was a pretty just like common, I feel like, thriller reveal. But in the end, I've really enjoyed Summerween. Make sure you guys go check out my last videos. I think at this point, this is the 4th. This is the end. Other content will be coming, but I had such a good time filming Summerween and kind of splitting it up and doing my own thing with my vlogs. And today was definitely like the chill day I kind of needed to like wrap things up and end it. And now I rest before I jump back into projects I already have going and future ideas. But thank you guys so much for hanging out with me for Summerween. I hope you had an amazing Summerween. Let me know down in the comments what you read, and I will see you guys in my next video.